Namaste, everyone. Please let me know you can hear me by typing a Y on the text chat. Excellent. So welcome everyone to the secret commands you can use to heal yourself. Thank you so much for showing up tonight with such, short notice. The reason I'm doing this webinar is I've had a lot of people just come to me and ask for assistance with healing. Some just right out of the blue, some in public. Some of my past clients with their children, some accidents, some stress over COVID and lockdowns. So I wanted to give you a training on some secret commands that you might not know about that can help you to embody more frequency, to transmute lower vibrating blockages that then manifest into physical disease, so that you can do this on a daily basis to heal yourself. So before we get into that, please just type on the text chat where you're currently logging in from. And if you have a specific issue that you would like assistance with tonight, please type that as well in the text chat, because I will be showing you how these commands actually work, and you'll be able to feel this no matter where you are in the world. So we have Pensacola in the house, Melbourne, Perth, Australia, Canada, Ireland, New Hampshire, Winnipeg, Chicago, San Francisco, British Columbia, Maryland, Vegas, Texas, New York. Awesome. So we have people logged in from all over the world here, and this is flowing down the screen so fast I can't keep up with it, but I'm glad you heard the call, and I'm glad that you're here. So let's get started. All right, I'm still reading these intentions on the text chat, so you can keep writing those. What you're going to learn tonight is the true power of your intention. So you'll learn how your intention controls everything. And when you realize that, you can understand how your mind works, how your thoughts work, and how commands work and how powerful they are. You're also going to learn how the sound tones and frequencies of certain commands can actually recode and activate dormant DNA inside of your morphogenetic field, which then activates your physical manifest DNA. So you're going to learn secret commands that you can use to heal specific issues in your life permanently. And the beauty of this is you'll be able to feel it when you actually do it. So you've probably been on a webinar with me or a session where you felt the energy move as something was cleared. How many of you have experienced that? Just type a Y on the text chat. Yeah, so you are aware that even though I'm currently in Las Vegas, no matter where you are in the world, I am connected to you immediately with my intention. And when you give me permission to work in your field, I'm able to have an energetic impact on you, no matter where you are. So there's no limitation to energy work. Quantum physics proves that. And so during this session tonight, I will demonstrate the power of commands to heal something for you. And if you have something that you would like to work on, again, just type that on the text chat and I'll focus on that for you. You know, if you want to, I can even give you the microphone so you can describe what you're feeling as we do this. The next thing you're going to learn is how you can actually learn all the secret commands so that you can heal the source of anything. And so I will be making an offer on this webinar to help you to learn all these commands so that you can do this yourself. Whether or not you get this offer, I suspect you'll find tremendous value in the information and in the commands that we do. So let's get started. The first thing I wanted to go over is how you actually get your energy. You know, you don't get your energy from food. You get your energy from universal life force currents. And so the way it happens, the actual sequence is these universal life force currents come into your body through the Merkaba, you know, the two counter rotating energy fields that bring energy from the universe and from the earth. Then they go into your subtle body anatomy, you know, your auric field. Then they enter your DNA template and what is called your central vertical channel, which is running right down the middle of your body. And as these currents come in, the idea is that they would naturally activate the fire letters of your DNA template at the quantum level and turn on more of yourself, turn on your consciousness. So that's the way it's supposed to work. But what's happened throughout history is that there are certain blockages between all of these different fields and all of these different anatomies. So there's a blockage at the universal level, the galactic level, the planetary level, and there's many blockages in the DNA of humans. And so what I've been working on the last 21 years is helping people to clear those blockages, because since they exist as energy, I'm able to transmute them with energy. And you do that with commands and intention. And so all of these embodied life force currents are actually regulated by two seals. They're called the cranial sacral seals. They're located in your pineal gland and also in the first 8 cells in your tailbone at the base of your spine. And so this is like your natural energetic circulatory system. You know you have a blood circulatory system, right? Well, you also have an energetic circulatory system. And so the way everything manifests physically is it first starts in your energetic field. So if you have a blockage in your energetic circulatory system, then this will eventually manifest into a physical problem, like an illness, disease, and, eventual unnatural death of the physical body. And so if we can catch these things before they manifest physically, then we can heal them before they even, affect us at the physical level. And even if they are already manifest physically, if we clear the energetic blockage, then the physical manifestation has nothing to manifest from. And so we can also heal that as well. So this is what the energetic circulatory system looks like. You have your 7 embodied chakras, you have your central vertical channel here, energy is coming in, you have all these different levels of your auric field. You basically have a 15th dimensional anatomy that corresponds to the universal anatomy. And so our structure is directly correlated to the Earth structure, the Earth's grids, the galactic grids, and the universal grids. And this diagram here shows the 5 spiritual identities that we have available to us in all the dimensional levels. So not only do we have the incarnate self here in dimensions 1, 2, and 3, we also have higher dimensional levels known as your higher self that corresponds to superconscious levels of your mind. So you have your soul, your oversoul, your avatar self, and your rishi self. And so this is a pretty complicated slide, but it basically shows that, we have this 15-dimensional anatomy. Beyond that, we have 3 levels of ascended mastery. So, indigo type 1s can access higher dimensions than, say, an angelic human. Angelic human can embody the avatar level, Indigo type 2s can embody the Rishi. Indigo type 1s can embody the ascended mastery level and actually basically connect to the highest levels of source. So on the planet right now, we have three types of DNA templates. We have the angelic human DNA, which is a 12-strand template. We have an indigo type 2 DNA, which is a 24-strand template. And then the indigo type 1 DNA, which is a 48-strand template. And so this is kind of what it looks like. Now, for those of you who have never listened to me before, my background, when I went to college was pre-med. Then I figured out that, I didn't want to be a doctor just prescribing medications to hide up the symptoms of something and not actually heal anyone. So I changed to computer science. I was a Big Five consultant for Ernst & Young for many years. I have my own company. I'm very technical. My sole group of origination is blueprint technician. And so just like I was fixing problems in, networking systems and computer programs, now I'm fixing problems in the human system. And so over the years, I've done over 8,200 live webinars, 300 live workshops around the world, and I've done over 1 million DNA activations. And so I founded DNA Perfection back in 1999. I also have 2 books that are published: The Great Master and Mentored by My Avatar, which describes my training with Babaji Nagaraj, the Deathless Avatar. I am focused mainly on helping people to understand how to manifest. And so if you know how to manifest, if you know how to use your intention, and you know the language of your higher self, which are symbols, light, color, and sound, then you can use those skills for manifestation to actually heal anything that's going on in your life. And so, I think some of this information may seem a little bit out there for some of you, but it's basically because I have access to information that some people do not have access to. So I have access to what are called the CDT plates, which are the original teachings, also to the Akashic records, so I can, connect to your soul's Akashic record and tell you your innate gifts and talents and, many different things that are going on with you. And, this is what I do all day. So in order to really understand how all of this works, you first need to understand how the DNA template works. So at the quantum level, you are energy. How many of you know that? Just type a Y on the text chat. So your body is made of what? Tissues and organs. You break that down into cells and molecules, and then you have atoms, then you have subatomic particles, and subatomic particles are made of energy. So at the quantum level, you have something called particuli. This is the lowest microparticle. And what quantum physics proves is that whenever you focus your attention on something, what happens is you collapse this wave field into a space-time particle event. So your expectation actually creates reality. So what does that mean? Well, if you have a 12-strand DNA template like this and only your first 3 strands are active or turned on, do you think it would be possible to use your focused intention to turn on strand 4? What do you think? Absolutely. You could do that. It's proven now. Science has proven that, a person focused on a DNA sample 50 miles away can have a positive effect on the DNA. So, now we have the science out there that proves this, but I've been teaching this since 1999 and everyone thought I was crazy. Now, over the years, we've done many workshops, not only for spiritually focused people, but also for business people. So I've been a member and leader of many different business masterminds where people have invested, over $100,000 a year just to meet 3 times a year and to learn about how to use quantum physics to not only improve your health, but also to double your income, to how to manifest more for your business. And so, I've done webinars with Mind Valley with thousands of people. We've done workshops at Chichen Itza for both 11/11 and 12/12. We've basically been going around the planet and activating the grids wherever the stargates are located. So the stargates are like the energetic chakras of the earth, and our DNA is directly connected to a stargate. So when the stargate opening cycle happens, our DNA serves as like a transducer to open up the stargate and allow that interdimensional frequency in. So one thing that you may not be aware of is that you have simultaneous incarnations going on at the same time. And this is by design. So if you have a 12-strand DNA template, you actually have 1,728 simultaneous incarnations going on in different time-space zones. And they're all connected to your DNA template. And so your DNA template is like an electromagnetic window to all of these different incarnations. So the good news is when you work on your DNA template, you're positively affecting all these different incarnations, and then they can merge into an embodied, unified conscious awareness. If you read my book, Mentored by My Avatar, I asked Babaji this question one time. I said, is it true that we have 1,728 different incarnations going on at the same time? And he said, yes and no. He goes, I chose to keep them all myself. So that's what we mean when we talk about an embodied, unified conscious awareness. When you fully activate all your parts, you're able to do that. You basically become the one. And the one is the only one incarnating. Does that make sense, everyone? All right. So one of the things that really messed up humanity was the 3470 BC Babylon massacre. And so this description right here is coming from a CDT plate. And when you study human history, pre-ancient human history, you realize that there were many different interferences by other races. And so there were interferences that basically caused a magnetic grid collapse. And when the grids are collapsed, since our grids are directly connected to the Earth's grids, that caused major mutations in the function of our own DNA template. And so what happened at this point was our race memory got erased. It started blocking the natural kundalini flow in the body, which caused pineal gland, thalamus, hypothalamus, and thyroid gland problems. If your hormones are not working properly and your glands are not working properly, well, that's your health right there. And so we went from being immortal, a human designed for biological transmutation, to living to be like 900, 800 years old in the Bible times. And now the lifespan is what? Just type on the text chat if anyone knows. 78. It's actually 78. So it hasn't changed. No matter how much technology we have, no matter how many different pharmaceuticals we have, it hasn't changed because the distortions are at the quantum energetic level. And unless you fix those, you're not going to manifest into the physical those improvements. And so this was called the Tower of Babel story in the Bible, and no one really understands, what happened and how it affected us. But you know that before this we had one language, and now we have thousands of languages. So basically, no one can communicate with each other anymore. At your higher self level, like your Christos avatar self, how do you think you communicate? Like if you were to visit yourself in the 12th dimension with other masters, how do you think you would communicate? Telepathically, right? So that's the original design. And some people can do that now, to this day. You probably had experiences where you were able to pick up thoughts from other people. But when you remove these blockages, you're able to do this without a problem. There are people that work in the CIA that are masters of this. They have to encode and encrypt their telepathy with other agents to keep other governments from reading their thoughts. So that's how good you can get at this. But these Babylon distortions really cause the majority of problems in the DNA template, although there were other distortions as well. So other distortions would be the 7 embodied J cells. There's something called the crown of thorns, which exists above the head, which scrambles the energy as it comes in through the crown chakra. And this blocks your pineal gland. Also, J cell 3 is right here at your pineal gland. There are various blockages in the vertical axial tonal lines here. And so this is called the inner crucifixion. There wasn't an outer crucifixion. This was an inner crucifixion that was done not to just one person, but all of humanity, because this mirrors what was done in the Earth's grids. So the Earth's grids have these problems. So anyone that incarnates here inherits those problems. So as soon as you incarnate here, the gene code shuts down. And so you forget why you came, what you're here to do, what your mission is, and you have to work your whole life on figuring that out. And most people never figure it out. So they just get stuck in incarnational patterns over and over and over. And so our mission is to fix that problem so we can finally get out of here. Now, the big problem that I see for most people is they don't know how to heal themselves because they don't know the commands to heal themselves. Most people on the planet require massive healing. As I said before, most people on the planet only have 3 strands of DNA active of 12. Most people have loads of auric attachments and entities around them or attached to them. Also, most people, including indigos, are walking the karma of their parents and 12 generations of ancestors, because you do inherit those imprints. Also, most people cannot visualize or manifest their intention with their mind because of these blockages. And most people eventually get sick or have a catastrophic illness and drop their body because of these energetic blockages. Just before this webinar, my friend sent me a news article that 500,000 people had died from COVID now. And it said, don't get your hopes up that we'll be, losing these masks. Now, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life, because you and I both know that out of those 500,000 people, they didn't just die from COVID, right? How many of you agree with me? They had other conditions, okay? And so they're going to use these numbers to keep promoting the vaccine agenda. But if you know how to use your mind and your intention, and you know how to use commands, you will never get sick. You'll never get anything. And if you do get something, you'll know how to heal it immediately. So that's really the purpose of this training, is so you can learn how to do that and take control of your life and really take control of your health, so these people cannot do this. So let me know if this sounds like you. Who here on the webinar feels like you have something that is keeping you from having perfect health? Just type a Y on the text chat. So maybe you have a low energy, or you feel tired. Maybe you don't feel clear, brain fog. Maybe you have some consistent aches and pains, injuries. You have a problem with weight. Because here's the thing, you can be the most well-intentioned person in the world as far as what you want to get done, but if you don't feel good, you're not going to do it. So it all starts with you feeling good and having energy, right? If you don't have energy, you could have a to-do list that's 2 pages long, but you're just not going to feel like doing it. And that's the big problem with humanity. Most people are so energetically blocked that they just go to work, they come home, they plop themselves on the couch, they turn on the programming machine, the TV, and then they get programmed with fear, and they're allowing that in, and now that creates more blockages. And so let me ask you this, who here thinks that you may have inherited something from your parents that is holding you back? Like as you get older, you see some of the things that your parents did and now you're doing that? Yeah, isn't that fun? When you start getting older, you start seeing these things, right? And so the beauty of this is that you can learn how to command your body to heal and change. And so that's what we're going to go over today. And the first thing we're going to go over is the role of your mind. So what is your mind? You can write this down. This is a good definition. Your mind is an energy force that continually generates patterns of waves, scalar waves, through thought. So that's what you're doing all the time. You're generating patterns of waves. Now, at the quantum level, you are also made of scalar waves that are just flashing on and off. So if your mind is generating waves and you're made of waves, do waves affect waves? Absolutely, right? So it's not difficult to understand how appropriately directed thought that's ordered, can positively influence your body and your manifestations, your projected hologram. That's the role of your mind. So what is the purpose of thought? The purpose of thought is to directly affect the observable state of your mind, body, spirit system and the manifestation of events in your life. That's why you're thinking, to positively affect your body. What do most people do all the time? They're thinking negatively. They're in the past thinking about what happened to them, or they're in the non-existent future, worrying or afraid of what might happen. And so that's what they're running through their body. That's what they're running through their brain. That's what they're running through their bloodstream. And then their mind manifests those things that they don't want to happen into their life. And so that's why it's important to get control of your mind, your thoughts, and your intention. And the way that you do that is through commands. And so you might be thinking, well, how do I manufacture my physical body with my thoughts and beliefs? Beliefs are thoughts that you keep thinking over and over. So here's how you do that. You form reality through your beliefs, and your most important production is your physical body. So your beliefs about it are constantly fed into inner data. How many of you have had the thought, I am fat? Just type a Y on the text chat. So whenever you say that, whenever you say I am, the next thing that you say, you start manifesting it. And that's why my son's name is Iam, because I know that's a very powerful frequency, and he already is a very powerful manifester. But if you also say, I am, and then something negative that you don't want, you start manifesting that. So you could exercise, perfectly, eat the so-called perfect diet. But if you're constantly saying, I am fat, you're actually creating the fat. And so there are many people that are doing that. It's an inner conflict. So you organize at the unconscious level the atoms, the molecules, they compose your cells, and then they form your body. So the blueprint is made by your conscious beliefs. So to change your body, you change your beliefs, even in the face of physical data or evidence that conflicts. So you can basically become healthy if you're ill. There are studies at the University of Texas, where I'm from, that cancer patients that did visualization, and whenever they got chemo, they would visualize the chemo only affecting the cancerous cells. And so the ones that did this visualization got well, whereas the ones that didn't do it, their normal cells got affected as well. And so you're creating constantly your body with your thoughts. It's like you're flashing on and off from source billions of times per second. But your thoughts about yourself are what make that the way it is. Does that make sense, everyone? You're basically giving yourself suggestions about your body, your health, or your ill health. So every thought has an electromagnetic reality. And whether you know it or not, they also have an inner sound value. Everyone here knows about exterior sound and how we communicate with each other. You're hearing the transmission of my voice right now, which also has a frequency. You know how your favorite song affects you, right, when you hear it, or when certain frequencies you hear affect you. And so sound affects the physical atmosphere, and inner sound, the sound of your thoughts within your own head, also affect you. And what most people don't realize is that inner sounds have an even greater effect than exterior ones upon your body. That's why when I train healing facilitators to do aura clearings and karmic sessions and DNA activations, they always ask me, do I need to say the commands out loud? And the answer is no. You can do all the commands silently and you'll have the same effect. But if you do speak it and the person is live with you, say on Zoom or something like that, then they also get the transmission of your external voice sound. And some people have a very powerful transmission. Most people tell me, I love your webinars. I don't know why. Well, it's because of the transmission of my voice. It's not like I'm an exciting speaker. It just has a certain frequency. So you're probably aware that the medical profession has its own beliefs, right, on how to treat something. They see everything as separate. They don't operate in a holistic environment. And they expect poor health and disease and viruses. They're always looking for what is wrong with a person. And so, since they're always looking for something that's wrong, what do you think they're going to find? They're going to find something wrong. If you go get tested for COVID, what do you think is going to happen? They're going to find it. Everyone will eventually test positive for it, but it doesn't mean that you actually have it. There's been so many false positives, and really, you know, it's like testing positive for the flu, where miraculously the flu cases went down 99% this year as all this COVID stuff started happening. Now, another thing that can happen is the doctor is an authority figure. And so if I'm a doctor and you come to me and I say, you've got 3 months to live, well, if you believe me and you take on that post hypnotic suggestion, then you will actually program yourself to die in exactly 3 months. So that's why you need to be very mindful whenever you visit someone who has such an authority, because you will take on that belief and then you will run that belief in your mind and then manifest that. Does that make sense? So the naming and labeling of diseases and viruses is basically a harmful practice, because you're accepting anything that the doctor says as true. You're told that you have something, and out of the blue, it has attacked you. Well, you don't just catch diseases, you don't just catch cancer, right? That manifestation happened a long time ago, and it first started in your auric field as a discordant energy blockage, and then maybe you cultivated that through hatred or anger or holding a grudge against someone. And after years of doing this, you basically manifested this thought form that then manifested as a physical cancer. So nothing is attacking you, okay? Somehow you manifested that with your mind, or you inherited it from your parents or ancestors. So in allopathic medicine, you're told that your emotions or beliefs or mind has nothing to do with the unfortunate condition that has attacked you. And so most patients feel powerless at the mercy of any stray virus that might come along. My mother, she had stomach problems for 20 years, and she was going to the doctor every single week. And they would prescribe all kinds of things. And then one time, the doctor said that she had to have surgery on her small intestine. And I asked her about it, and she said, yeah, he said I need to have surgery because my small intestine is too big. And he also said that he needed a new boat. And I was just like, oh my God. So this is how this works. It's a business. Let's see what else is wrong so we can make a prescription, and then we can make more money. And so that's why I did want to become one of those doctors. Now, the fact is that you choose even the kind of illness that you have according to the nature of your thoughts and your beliefs. And so you are immune from ill health as long as you believe you are. I have never been sick. Like, I don't believe in getting sick. And even if I don't feel completely 100%, I know how to change that immediately. But if you believe that you are susceptible to some invisible fake virus, then you could create those symptoms in your body. Okay. But the original organic imprint for perfect health does not allow this. Do you think the creator or source would create individuations of himself or herself that are prone to disease and illness and eventually would just die? That would not be a very good design, would it? And so your body automatically rights any imbalances. But if you believe something negatively, this will interfere with that. Does that make sense, everyone? So you have your physical body, but then you also have less dense bodies. So you have a carbon-based body, you have a carbon silica-based body, an etheric body, a golden liquid light body. And these are structures of sound, light, and electromagnetics that you cannot perceive with your eyes because your eyes only see the visible light spectrum. If you could see this, you would be able to see the little dark specks in your auric field that then manifested the physical problem in your body. So if you have a low thyroid problem, for example, you would be able to see the blockage in the throat chakra. If you have a stomach problem, like diverticulitis, you would be able to see that blockage in your second chakra or your third chakra. And so any physical disabilities will show themselves in these other structures first. If you don't get anything else out of this webinar, I want you to get that. You have to heal it in the energetic field first, and then the physical manifestation goes away. Not the other way around. You don't hide the symptom with the drug because that does nothing to the energetic blockage. Make sense, everyone? Even if you cut something out of someone, even if you do surgery and cut something out, the original blockage is still in the auric field. So it'll just remanifest. So the sound, light, and electromagnetic patterns give vitality and strength to your physical form, and of course are more mobile than your physical body. And these are even more susceptible to the changing pattern of your own thoughts and emotions. What happens is your thoughts are translated into inner sound, and thoughts always try to materialize themselves. So your thoughts build up as a thought form, like an embryonic form, until one way or another they're physically translated into chemical clothes. So thought manifestation is how your thoughts basically become chemical clothes in either yourself or your reality. So the reason I gave you all of this background is so you can actually understand how thoughts combined with commands, your intention, are extremely powerful. And so I'm going to give you some examples of powerful commands that you can use. And the first couple that I'm going to give you is how to raise your frequency, how to raise your energy, and how to use certain sound tones for manifestation, certain commands for manifestation. So this is for invoking the God force energy. So just listen, and as I say these sound tones, I want you to feel what's happening in your body. You can have your eyes open or your eyes closed. You can monitor your left hand if you want, just to feel the energy. But just listen. So the first thing we're going to do is hail the Akasha God force energy. Uma e tre ina e Akasha. Uma etre ina ekasha. Uma etre ina ekasha. Now the next one is a request. It's the in-breath intention embedding. Irda shada dikeshe ta'amira pranachi. Next we have the directive, the pause breath, the intention creation. Manu ekre daku ki ma'ayana treya re. Then we have the creation, which is the out-breath intention manifestation. Mane kai hahura hara maya manaki. And then we have the projection. Ashalum ta ekashade. So just take a deep breath in. And I want you to just notice the buzzing in your body right now. With your right hand, just type on the text chat if you felt that. So these are very, very ancient sound tones and commands in the Anuhazi language, which is the first written and spoken language in this time matrix. So this is how people used to get their energy. They would go through these sacred songs and they would do these over and over. And I do these every day when I wake up in the morning, and you can start doing these as well. It's much better than relying on Starbucks, right? It gets you going, and it also starts activating dormant DNA and turning on more of your consciousness. And so that is the first one that I like to use. I'll show you the other one. Let me just pull it up real quick. All right, so the other commands and sound tones that I like to use are from the high Veka codes. So codes, symbols, light, and sound, that's the language of your higher self. So these are the universal time codes for accessing higher frequency. So just listen to these and feel what happens in your body. Maharata mueva kira shehasha kushardeza dadrueja ra eka uma etre ina ekasha. So feel your left hand, how it just lit up. Did everyone feel that? So now let's do it together. Just repeat after me and you'll feel it in your own body. Let's start with this one. Maharata mueva. Kirashe hasha. Kushardeza. Dadruasia. Ra ek a. And then the last one we do, which is for the Akasha symbol, is this. A tre I na ka sha. So do it one more time, and I want you to feel the amount of energy that this gives you. Maharata mueva kira shehasha kushar deza dadrueja ra eka Uma e tre ina e ekasha. Isn't that nice? So how many of you, when you heard that, you felt like you remembered it? So yeah, this is something very ancient that if you're in indigo, you probably have done it before. And what I suggest that you do is both of these throughout your day. And let's say that you are in a place with some very discordant energy. You know, you're in a public place like the airport and everything is just, it's just very chaotic. You can clear the energy in that area just by doing the sound tones. And you can use it, you can just use the Biveka code and the Triveka code, those sound tones, to clear anything immediately. Like you could do this in your house, you can do it at the DMV, you know, you could do it at court, wherever you are. So you could say, Maharata Mueva Ki Rashe Hasha. And that's all you have to do. If you want to visualize the Biveka and the Triveka, you can do that as well. But those sound tones will immediately start transmuting anything around you that's not at least 12th dimensional frequency. Because the Biveka code is 12th dimensional, and so are the sound tones, and the Triveka is 15th dimensional. And so this really helps you when you're in a situation of very low frequency or you're around people that are very low frequency. You know, I use this in Vegas all the time. So those are sound tones and commands to raise your frequency. Here are some commands to set manifestations in motion. This is what I use to set manifestations in motion. You know, either by using certain codes or just direct commands to manifest things, and also using, you know, the multidimensional plate that I talked about in a couple webinars ago. So the first one that I love is Taisha Intadoi. Ta-a-ja inta-doi. Ta-asia inta-doi. Whenever you say this with authority after you set your intent. And so what this means, as spoken, as it is stated, as so it is done. This is an ancient term in the Anuhazi language that is much more powerful than it is done or so be it. I use this for all my manifestations. I also use Aham Brahmasmi. So this is in Sanskrit, and this basically means I am Brahma, or I am an individuation of God. I then use Eli Ja Teth. This also translates into it is done, but this is coming from the absolute harmonic universe, which is the higher self universe of the one that we're in. I also use Om Kriya Babaji Nama Om. And so this is the sound tone that you can use to invoke the master Babaji Nagaraj. And it's kind of like the cell phone of Babaji. You know, basically when you make this sound tone, it invokes him, it resonates with him, and it connects your crown chakra to his crown chakra. And you basically receive an immediate blessing. And so this is just means so much to me using this, because you know I trained with Babaji for 4 years straight, and we were basically together all the time. The next one is I am this I am. So notice this is I am this I am, not I am that I am. I am this I am connects you to all your different multidimensional selves. So your lower self is you in dimensions 1, 2, and 3. Your higher self or your I am presence is you from dimension 4 on up. So we want both of those working together. I am this I am aligns you all the way up to the primal life force currents. So this is like basically Jesus saying, I and my Father are one. I am this I am. Okay, so it's very powerful. It means that you're coming from the level of your higher self. And from the level of your higher self, you can manifest anything. Are there any questions on these so far? It's not necessary to say it out loud. You could say it in your mind as well. But what's really funny is that I've taught my son the Tai Chi Doi and how to do manifestations. So whenever we're playing, basketball or competing against each other, he'll be like, "It is commanded that Papa misses his shot. Tai Chi Doi." He's using it for that now. But I've also taught him how to use it for himself. So he's getting that. He knows about codes. Today, I taught him about the power of the 3, 6, and 9 numbers and how they operate in the universe. So it's really important to teach your children the important things in life, like manifestation and how to master your mind and emotional intelligence and how to keep yourself healthy rather than history that never really happened. So you can use it for anything, Barbara. Like you can use it for you know cha- changing outcomes. You can use it to jump on a different timeline. You could use it to manifest a relationship. You can use it to affect various outcomes because everything is about intention. We're living in a collective thought-filled reality. So everyone's thoughts are competing to manifest. But imagine if you have all of your DNA activated, you're completely clear, you don't have any blockages, and you know the language of your higher self, and you're using that for manifestations instead of, standing in front of the mirror and saying, I am a millionaire. Yeah, that's going to work. No, you need to use the language of your higher self. Okay. So, Don, you just say, Aham Brahmas me. Okay. Aham Brahmasmi. And whenever you say these sound tones, notice the frequency. Listen and feel. Ta, a, ja, inta, doi. Aham Brahmasmi. Elhi, ja, teth. Om Kriya Babaji Nama Om. I am this, I am. Isn't that powerful? And so this is how you set your intent. Always use this to set your intent. And you'll notice your manifestations happen much faster. So let's go over some powerful commands for healing. What is an issue that you currently have that you desire to heal? So just type that in, just one word on the text chat, and I'll choose one that the majority of the people have, and then you could feel how the commands actually work. So I'm seeing a lot of different things here. So I'm seeing a lot of ancestral karma, parental karma, things you inherited from your parents. But what I'm really receiving right now is that everyone here could use a clearing of the 2 chakras that are in your head. So basically we have our crown chakra and we have our third eye chakra, 7th chakra, 6th chakra. There's something called occupants. So an occupant is a thought form that thinks it owns a body. So if you have an occupant in your head, you're going to have problem thinking clearly, maintaining focus, concentrating. You may have voices in your head. And it also affects your pineal gland and your pituitary gland. So those are very important for the health of your body. So what I'm going to do is a clearing for everyone on the webinar, your head, of any occupants. When I do this, most people have an occupant in each chakra. So there's 2 occupants. If you would like me to do this for you, just type permission on the text chat. That means I have permission to work in your field and to clear any occupants that you might have. We always ask for permission. Okay, so let me tell you what the occupants are composed of. The way an occupant is created is whenever your mind goes into an analogical state. When your mind goes into an analogical state, like if you have a shock in your life or a big surprise and you get very emotional or you react, your mind seems to stop and then you fracture off your soul's energy into what are called ids or identities. And these ids are stored at the quantum level and they have a certain frequency. And so in order to heal anything permanently, we have to go to the quantum DNA level and heal the ids. It's the same with any type of illness. We always have to go to the quantum level and heal the source of the illness, the ids that manifested that. And so what I do is I have commands to transmute the ids all the way up the 15-dimensional anatomy to the void or unmanifest matter or nothing, no thing. And then the issue is completely vanquished and absolved. It's completely healed. That's the only way you can heal something permanently. And so that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to connect to your higher self. So just have your left hand with the palm facing down, fingers pointing away from you, very relaxed and not touching anything. Now just take a deep breath in and exhale. And if you would like to, you can just close your eyes. Some people don't feel safe closing their eyes because they've had so much trauma. I understand that. This is not hypnosis or anything like that. But if you'd like to close your eyes and just focus on what you're feeling in your left hand will tell you what's going on when we do the commands. It is commanded by the laws of the golden liquid realms and alchemical powers, and in the name of divine love, that in this session, each person on the webinar is cleared of all occupants in their head, permanently on all levels of their awareness and in line with their higher self. Ta Asian Tadoi. So while you're focused on your left hand, just say in your mind or out loud, connecting to my higher self. Now you'll feel an even stronger tingling in the fingertips, which tells you you're connected. If you can't feel much and you're not sensitive to energy, you're still connected. So now just feel what happens as I clear these occupants. Activate all IDs on the first 3 levels related to any occupant in each person's head. So notice what you feel now. Now you feel an even stronger tingling in your fingertips. So what we're doing is taking the IDs out of their latent state. We're turning them on so that we can clear them. Bring in all these IDs, mirror opposite IDs, and merge together with each other, and the Christ opposites up to levels. Bring in all necessary Christ opposites to remove the occupants themselves. Clean up demons, thought forms, soul fragments, personalities of others on the first 3 levels, then all levels. So just keep breathing normally and feel what happens. Any emotions come to the surface, just allow those to clear. If your body starts shaking or spasming, that's part of the clearing. If your left hand starts moving, that's normal. So now the energy is moving into the center of your hand, like a wave of energy, getting lighter. Now it's starting to move into your palm, getting even lighter. Yeah, for some of you, this is very heavy because you've never done this before. Now what's happening is the energy is going underneath your palm toward your wrist, and this is called a quantum release. So you may feel something releasing from you or spinning off your body, kind of like a little breeze. And you may feel some heat in your face and your head. So now just take a deep breath in and then exhale strongly. And now if you have your eyes closed, you can just open your eyes here and come back to the 3D. And then notice your left hand is relatively quiet now. You'll just feel a slight tingling in the fingertips, which is the connection to your higher self. How did that feel, everyone? You can just type what you felt, what you feel in the text chat. Very powerful, amazing, tears, feels awesome, great, buzzing in the head, great energy flow, something very unpleasant lifted away, liberating, something released from the third eye, slight headache. Yeah, having a little headache is normal after these sessions. You know, when I first started doing this, I was like, why are people having headaches? And then Babaji told me, well, that's normal. If you have a headache, or if you have like sweating, you know, it's called divine fever. Those are the discordant magnetic fields of energy releasing from your body. You may feel spacey because your entire energetic anatomy is reorganizing itself. But in a couple of days, you're going to feel amazing, more clear than you've ever felt. Just takes a while to integrate the session. So we have head clear, spasms, lightheaded, tingle left finger to begin, tingling in both hands, my ear is warm, ringing in the left ear. How do you spell Anuhazi language? Anahzi. Wrist hurt a little. Yeah, sometimes whatever you're clearing is so heavy that your left hand will actually have pain and even move. Like, I used to do some of my sessions on the first video conferencing software, which is called SiteSpeed. And one time, this famous yogi signed up for a session with me, and so he was really sensitive to energy. And whenever I would do a command, I had him on the video. His body would react so strongly. It was like how many of you have seen the video of Kennedy when he got shot? It was like that, you know. And so when I saw that a command could do that to a person, you know, 2,500 miles away, that made an even bigger believer out of me. Because right now, you know, I can't see all of you, but some people are that sensitive. And he would joke about it. He'd be like, "Oh, you got me again." You know, he'd almost fall out of his chair. But, you know, we've had people come to workshops and they've had Kundalini awakenings right in front of us on the ground where their back arched like a cat. Has anyone ever seen that before? Where the Kundalini activation happens and, you know, the person's body does that? Well, that's what can happen. But, you know, it's all good because you're basically healing something every time. And every time you do a clearing, it's like peeling the layers of an onion to get to your core. So it would be nice if we could clear everything in one session, but there's so many different types of blockages that we have to do it gradually and allow you to integrate before you can do more energy work. Does that make sense, everyone? All right. So that was an example of how we can do commands to actually heal something remotely. And if you have a specific symptom that you desire to heal for yourself, here's an example of a command that you can use. So it is commanded by the laws of the golden liquid realms and alchemical powers that the source of this symptom be healed on all levels and dimensions of awareness now. Ta Asia Enta Doi. So what does this mean? It is commanded. You're using your intention. You're commanding. You're commanding reality by the laws of the golden liquid realms and alchemical powers. The golden liquid realms are the higher self universe of the one that we're in, called the absolute harmonic universe, which is unity consciousness. So this is where the commands and the codes come from. Alchemical powers, we know that we can change things with our thoughts. We are alchemists. That's why we're given a mind, is so we can use it. And so we are commanding that the source of the symptom, not the symptom, be healed on all levels and dimensions of awareness now. So you can modify this command for whatever you desire to heal, and you can start practicing with it. Okay? So that's a general command for healing. Now, there are different powerful commands for healing specific issues. For example, some people have soul level contracts from past lives that are still affecting them now or limiting them. Anytime you have a contract, it's a limiting contract. You know, it's limiting your freedom, your divinity. So we want to clear all of those. Also vows or past curses, spells, bindings where you're bound to another person, anger spears. I just did a session today for one of my best students on clearing anger spears. Also, some people have unjustified negative karma where they did something in a past life and now they expect to pay for it forever. And so, you know, it's actually something we can clear. Also, missing soul facets. Everyone has 617 soul facets that make up you as a soul. Through trauma and, you know, accidents and other things, you can end up losing soul facets. And what's interesting is that most people have between 2 and 7% missing soul facets. So you're literally missing parts of yourself. And this can result in confusion. It can result in you feeling like, you know, you're not whole or you're missing something. If people lose 20 to 25% of their soul facets, then that can manifest in conditions like autism and Asperger's. And so I've worked with a lot of children, you know, with permission from their parents on their diagnosed children that have autism and Asperger's. And usually the problem is not a physical problem, it's a spiritual problem. So they are missing a lot of soul facets and they are indigo type 3 souls. So there are ways to, you know, basically restore those soul facets. And there are certain commands in Latin that you can use to do that. So there are different commands for healing just about everything. And you can also, you can even go to the soul Akashic record and you can identify any negative spirit guides around you, and you can reorder your spirit guide team for specific projects that you're working on. You can clear implants, either etheric implants, or you can recode physical implants like fillings or breast implants so that they resonate with your body. Also, some people have God spark damage, which is right above your thymus gland. That's where your God spark is. Sometimes this can be damaged or it can be plugged in to an organization. You know, like I had one person who was super loyal to their company and they worked all the time. And when we checked their God spark was actually connected to the company. So that's where all their energy was going. So you don't want that. You want it to go straight up connected to your soul, oversoul, avatar self, rishi self. So you're getting energy from the universal life force currents and not having your energy sucked by another person or an organization. Does that make sense, everyone? And then there are commands to actually clear your house or your business and to align your property, because sometimes properties are on top of energetic portals and gateways, and these portals and gateways allow discordant energies in, and even sometimes entities in, that negatively affect you. You probably heard of, like, ghost and like all these different types of beings that cause problems. Well, that's not just in the movies. This is an actual fact. So it's really important, especially if you're moving into a new place that may have been occupied by someone else, is to completely clear the energy using certain commands. Kind of like, it's like doing an aura clearing for yourself, but every room of the house is like a chakra. You don't clear anything. I have to tell you this, you don't clear anything by just burning sage and walking through the house. That doesn't do anything. There's so many people that believe in that. Their intention might be clearing something, but the burning of the sage is not clearing anything. So I have a question for you. Who here would like to learn the secret commands to heal these on yourself and others? So, for example, more occupants like we did tonight, karmic imprints, soul contracts, anger spears, any vows, curses, spells, or bindings, missing soul facets. How many of you would like to learn the commands to be able to heal these on yourself and others? Just type a Y on the text chat. Because here's the deal. We obviously cannot put these commands in an ebook and send them to you. Because what do you think is going to happen? In 5 seconds, they're going to be uploaded to the internet, and all of these people that do not have pure agendas are going to be using these. Okay, so just like in the ancient times where all of the most important teachings were given orally, they weren't written down. That's the way I'm going to give you these commands. It's just going to be me giving you the command for whatever specific thing you desire to heal. And so with that comes trust. I'm trusting you to use this in the best way possible for yourself, for your parents, for your clients, for your children. And it's an unspoken agreement. So for those of you who said yes, you'd like to learn the secret commands, how many of you also agree to use these in the highest way for yourself and others? Just type a Y, please. I mean, I can read the energy of the group, so I do see your intention, and I can always recognize if we have anyone negative on the webinar. So I appreciate you confirming that with me. All right, so as promised, here's what I've got. It's called the Ultimate Secret Healing Command Toolkit, and basically what this will do for you is give you the exact command that you can use to heal anything in your life permanently. So some of you may not have physical problems or mental problems or emotional problems that you want to heal. Some of you may want commands to manifest, more financial abundance, or to clear poverty consciousness or something like that. So what this is basically an exact energetic prescription and spiritual remedy for every discordant situation in your life. Could be in yourself, in your health, but also in your life. So you can solve the problem of not being 100% whole and well, and you can start restoring your original organic imprint for perfect health. Because if you are 100% well and you are 100% activated and clear, then you are extremely powerful, right? You know, you're not disempowered. Most people are very disempowered. But if you're well and you're healthy and your mind is working right, well, a clear mind knows what to do to manifest the light that you want. A clear mind knows which phone calls to make, which emails to answer, what actions to take. And so that's really the purpose of this. It's like you're getting a real prescription to actually do something holistically and naturally that manifests what you want in your life. And so the purpose is to just consistently manifest in line with your higher self or your superconscious self. And so how does it work? Well, once you get the Ultimate Secret Healing Command Toolkit, we connect on Skype and you tell me what you desire to heal. And so I'll tune into you to identify the source of this and where it is energetically. So you may not know what the source of it is, but I'll tune into you and I'll tell you, you know, basically what I'm getting, and you can verify that. Once we do this, I'll give you the exact commands to issue to heal this, and I'll teach you how to feel the release. You know, you learned a little bit on this webinar, but you know, my whole thing is if I'm doing something, I want to make sure that I've done it. And so at the end, we'll both verify that the issue is gone. And, you know, once you have that quantum release, we'll move on to the next issue. Okay. And so you'll have access to me for this for four weeks. So you'll learn all the commands that you need for yourself and, you know, whatever you want to work on in your life. You know, I'll give you specific commands for that. Now, the beauty of this is that once you start using the commands, you start seeing the results, and then you start having more of a belief that it works because you're seeing the results. That's why I'm doing commands constantly, because I know it works. And then once you see that it works, you're going to be doing it as well. So we're all basically going to learn how to become more powerful manifestors, creators, you know, natural healing facilitators, so we can raise the frequency of the planet and use our mind and our energy to get things done around the planet. You know, just like the quote from Tesla, you know, he says, once we start focusing on the non-physical and we focus on frequency and energy instead of the physical, we'll make more progress in a decade than we have in thousands of years. And that's what we're really focused on here. And so what is the total value of this training? Well, to me, learning how to heal yourself is priceless. You know, normally my classes that are 6 or 8 weeks long, they start at 5K. I have a licensing program where some of my top healing facilitators have licensed my technology, and they have invested up to $100,000. You know, for this webinar, I'm basically offering this as a thank you for being here, for being a client, for, you know, being with me for so long. And the tuition is only going to be $711. Okay, $711 to learn all of these secret commands to be able to heal yourself, you know, your children. If you're a healing facilitator, you can use this for your clients. And you know, having this toolkit in your belt will allow you to operate in any situation. No matter where you find yourself, you'll be able to protect yourself. You'll be able to clear blockages, you'll be able to manifest, and you'll be able to heal the symptom and the cause. And so this offer of 7-Eleven is only available on this webinar. For those of you who showed up, thanks for showing up. It's only available on this webinar, and it's only available for 27 people. Okay, so we have 345 people on the webinar. Who here would like to have this? Just type a Y in the text chat. All right, so all of these Y's are flowing down the screen. The way that you get this, I think a lot of us are already connected on Skype. My Skype is shivananda.brahmananda. I also use the email rio_bound@hotmail.com. And so if you desire this, just type I am in on the text chat, just so I can see the names here. So whenever you contact me on Skype, I'll know who you are. So just type I'm in on the text chat to get one of the 27 spots. And the reason it's limited is because I'm going to require to interact with you individually. So it's going to take a good amount of time for me to do that. But we will do it on the Skype text chat. So do add me if we're not already added on Skype. Are there any questions? When you work on your children, do you have to have permission? You do not have to have permission to work on your own children. You can just connect to their higher self, and you can ask permission, and then you can receive the answer intuitively. Can you use this on pets? Absolutely. I used to have an Italian Greyhound who jumped off of a bridge in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, into the river, and the jump was like 20 feet down. It was all cement. There's no way he could get out. And so I had to jump in and save him. But that was an analogical experience for him, created a trauma, and then he would have a panic attack every time he was close to that area. So I did the commands to clear that for him, and then he was able to, walk on a leash without freaking out. So really, anything that's happening, you can use these commands. My son this weekend, he had a cough. He told me he had a cough, and I was like, okay. So as soon as he went to sleep, I did a session for him. Today, no cough. He's jumping around. He's like, I feel so much better. Back to normal. There's nothing that you can't heal with commands. Everything is about your intention. And one of the things that I'll teach you in this is, before you do the command, you yourself get into a state of unconditional omni self-love, because the love frequency, that 528 hertz frequency, that's what actually powers the healing. So you want to get into that state first. You don't want to just be doing commands like a robot. You actually want to use that powerful love frequency to do your healings. Make sense, everyone? All right, any other questions? All right, so this is the lowest offer that I've ever made in 18 years. So normally all of my trainings are at least 5K. And so if you are serious about healing yourself and you want to learn these secret commands that I learned, through all my mentors, I learned a lot through Babaji. We would work from 1:30 in the morning until 7 a.m. in the morning on myself. And so this is how I learned, is by clearing things on myself and seeing the commands that he was using. And there's a lot of like a lot of different commands that, you know, are for various things, for reordering your Merkaba, for example. There's commands to align all of your different light bodies. There's commands to activate your Kundalini energy, to release the seals at the base of your spine. There's commands for everything. It's just like when you think about a computer or your phone. How does your phone run? By software commands. So you're running software right now. If you're not getting the output that you want, then you're required to change the software. Maybe you have a bug, an implant in your software. Once you clear that and you install the updated code, now you're going to get the output that you desire. You're going to run better. So Donna, it's shivananda.brahmananda on Skype. And if you can't find me, just email me and I'll send you the link to sign up. So Venkat, you're signing up for the remote viewing training. So since you're doing that, I'm going to include this as well for you. Okay. Okay, define children. Okay, so here's the guideline. It's not just under 18, it's the children that are living with you in your house. So if someone lives with you, you you have the right to work energetically on them because you're sharing the same energy anyway. Their energy is affecting you. All right. But you don't want to just work on someone without their permission if they're not living with you. That's kind of like intrusion. That's like energetic rape. If you think that you know better for someone else and you're like, oh, they need to work on this, then you need to work on yourself. Any other questions? All right, Donna, I will check that right after this and send you the link. All right, so I'm about to close the webinar, but what I want to teach you right now here at the end is anytime you do a session or a clearing using commands, you always want to do a download from your higher self at the end, because if you're clearing something that's lower vibrational in yourself, now you have room to embody more frequency. And so just close your eyes and listen to this, and I'm going to guide you through this download from your higher self. So close your eyes and just imagine these golden liquid light filaments coming down through the top of your head, going down your central vertical channel and out through both sides of each chakra. So out through both sides of your third eye, front and back, throat, heart, solar plexus, sacral chakra, 2 inches below your navel, and then out the bottom of your root chakra, all the way down to the center of the earth. Golden liquid light. It is commanded in the name of divine love that each person here is infused with new codes, new templates, and new soul programming from their Christos avatar self in the best way possible for them and in line with their higher self. Ta Asian Tadoi. So just feel what happens as this download occurs. So if you want to do rapid, expedited evolution for yourself, you can use this last command to download from your higher self every night before you go to sleep. It's like checking for the latest update for your iPhone and installing it. You always want to be running on the latest software, right? Although on the iPhone, every single software update introduces more bugs, right? Not with your higher self, though. All right, so that download just finished. You feel the energy go underneath your palm as it finishes. And so that's how you know it's complete. But I wanted to give that to you. And I look forward to helping all of you with the command toolkits. And we're going to do massive healing for all of you and the planet this year. So this is the first step, learning the power of commands, and then you'll go on to learning the power of codes. You'll learn how to activate DNA, and you'll be a powerful healing force on the planet for good, because we need that, right? All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I really enjoyed this, and I hope that all of you come out of this webinar with the highest frequency possible and a lot more knowledge on how you can help yourself and others. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.